It has been such a production to just get myself in front of a camera today and turn it on and film something. And I swear, like, I am so not the easiest person to deal with. And I'm saying that about myself. Like, it's too hard for me to deal with myself sometimes. I sat down, or I was getting ready to sit down and film, and then I noticed that one of my plants behind me needed water. This fuzzy guy over here, isn't he cool though? He has purple leaves. But anyway, I noticed that he needed water, so I stopped everything I was doing, left the alcove to go get my watering can, which was across the apartment in the bathroom, started to water this guy, started to marvel about how beautiful his fuzzy leaves are, and then he just peed everywhere, and the pee, and by pee I mean water obviously, started falling down my bookshelf, and I had to deal with that, so I had to sprint to the kitchen, which would like be easy if I didn't have a bunch of decluttered makeup on my floor that I have to deal with. So, like, I'm having a day. We're gonna talk about some serious problems. This hasn't been easy. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Speakless and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a classic get ready with me, hence why my hat's gone. I have minimal makeup on. I always start get ready with me's with my base and my brows done, because if I don't do some steps, we'll be here all day. I also gave myself like a little bit of a cream contour, like the hintiest of hint of Chanel Soleil de Chanel bronzer, just so I didn't look totally dead. But that's what we're doing today. We're doing Chit Chat Get Ready with Me. I haven't done one in a while. Just if you're new to this channel, if you don't know, I typically only do get ready with me's when I have like stuff about my life to talk about, because these are kind of obnoxious for me to edit. Also, I'm just now perfecting the angle of which to film these. My last one I trashed because you couldn't see what I was doing the whole time. That being said though, if you don't like videos where I talk about myself as a person, probably not the video for you. I don't really talk about what products I'm using. I just kind of do what I'm doing and vent to you all. It's like my therapy, so that's what we're doing today. If you don't like that, click another video probably. I just got distracted again by a plant. Oh my god. I have some new makeup I'm trying out in this video. I got a couple things during the Sephora sale. I didn't go crazy. I know everyone expects me to. I got the Huda palette, which I'm not actually using today, the Mercury palette. I'm using something different. I got a blush that I'm going to use. I have a new highlighter. I don't know, it is what it is. Also, if you've never seen one of my Get Ready With Me's, my glasses constantly come on and off. I have to keep the mirror like this close. I'm going to try to actually turn so you can see what I'm doing this time. Instead of the Huda palette, I actually want to play with the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Storm palette. This is something that I picked up like a while ago, and then I specifically put it on my cart to make sure that I use it, and then the opposite happened. I like forgot about it. And I have the Berries and Cream palette that I might pair with it. I don't know. This isn't newer, but I know people got like a mini version of this in their BoxyCharm, so I don't know. I was inspired to want to play with it. I've already primed my eyes. We're gonna move forward. Like I said, this is already a train wreck. I haven't done this in so long. Glasses are off. Hair is poofy. I need a haircut. I'm getting a New York State license tomorrow finally, so I need to look somewhat cute, even though that photo is going to be garbage regardless. So, how are you guys? I wanted to do a chit chat get ready with me because I am coming to terms with the fact that I have a fear of failure. I feel like the last time I did a chit chat get ready with you guys, it was like when I just moved and I was letting you guys know like what my plan was. I don't know. I don't know what the last life update I ever gave you guys was. So, to kind of catch up, if you don't know my life story, my fiance and I quit everything about our lives in New Jersey and picked up everything and moved to Albany, New York, so that we could have a better life, basically. And like, so far so good. It worked out. I'm debating doing a whole video where I just talk about my experience dropping everything to move to a different city. Let me know if you want that. What do I want to do? I'm gonna go in with blue because blue eyeshadow makes everything better. Anyway, since we moved, Matt has been working. He's working in a field that he really loves and that I think he's meant to be in. That's my 2 cents. As for me though, my life has been a train wreck. If you're new to my life, I am a dumpster fire of a human. I got a criminal justice degree and then panicked and then got a different degree in sociology and anthropology with a focus in physical anthropology. I wanted to maybe work in forensics. I flaked out about going to grad school and panicked, and then we moved like the next year. A lot of you guys in my move have asked me like what is it that I plan to do career-wise now that I'm moving. A couple people are asking me like, oh, are you going to pursue your anthropology degree and be a working anthropologist? I would probably need to get my PhD for that, which I'm currently not doing. I wanted to go to grad school for physical anthropology when I graduated the second time around, but then I was so emotionally overwhelmed by the time I graduated school that I decided to take a gap year, and then a gap year has turned into 2 years. We're slowly approaching my third gap year, so it's safe to say it's no longer a gap, more so an intermission. When we first got here, you know, we moved on our savings, so we kind of knew we weren't gonna work for a second. Matt ended up getting a job fairly quickly, doing what he loves to do, basically working for the same company he was working for, just a different, like, sect of it. I said my boyfriend, we're newly engaged. That's another thing that happened since we moved, and I keep defaulting to boyfriend, which feels stupid, and I know Matt did that too. He was calling me his girlfriend for a while, so he just started defaulting to wife, so I might default to husband. You know what I mean. But he works in nonprofit, and he works specifically with adults with different kinds of disabilities, and it's not what we went to school for. Him and I both have criminal justice degrees. He originally wanted to be a cop, but he loves what he does, and I think that he'll move up doing this, and I think this will always be his career. As for me, I haven't found a full-time, like, adult job yet. Actually, a lot of my life and money supplementing has come from YouTube, which I don't make Tesla David Dobrik money from YouTube. I don't really even make, like, great part-time job-worthy money from YouTube either, but I make, like, enough to have let me breathe for a second, mixed with like what Matt earns and our savings and stuff. So like, thank you guys for that, for giving me a mental health break, so to speak. Mental health break is over though. I've been looking for jobs, and I came to the conclusion that I've been applying for advocacy positions, which is what I got my criminal justice degree to do. I originally got my first degree to be a victim's advocate, but then like I said, by the time I graduated with that degree, I panicked, causing me to like reevaluate what it was I wanted to do and get another degree and that whole fiasco. This goes into what I mentioned earlier about realizing that I have a fear of failure. So I know I've been going in with the same eyeshadow this whole time. I tried to like blow it out, and now I'm really trying to pack it in the crease. These shadows are pigmented and they work really nicely, side note, but anyway. I've been applying to a lot of like entry-level advocacy positions, which is what I got my criminal justice degree to do originally, because I'm in Albany, I'm in the capital of New York State. That's all there really is here, is like nonprofit work and like things like that, which is perfect. That's why we moved here. And it's just interesting to me that I'm applying for jobs, doing the thing that I originally went to school to do, and it makes me feel like I wasted all of my time up until this point, which I don't fully believe in. Like, I don't regret any of my degrees. I love anthropology. I think I will always be an anthropologist first. Like, that's my bread and butter. That's the thing I love the most. But I'm very passionate about criminal justice, and I think being away from it for so long and kind of like having a second to breathe and like process everything that's happening with my life allowed me to figure that out, because I feel like when I was first of all, from when I was in high school and then in college and then so on and so forth, there's this constant pressure of like, figure your life out, figure out what it is you want to do, and then I panicked. I was like, I don't know. And then on top of that, there's this pressure of do the thing that's profitable, not so much the thing you love, and that sucks. And I'm really starting to realize that I've been sabotaging myself this entire time. I really think, like, I've always kind of known that I've had this fear of failure, but I don't really, because I feel like you can rationalize failure, right? Even with job hunting right now, and as stressful as job hunting has been, the worst thing that could possibly happen if I submit an application or a resume someplace is that I don't get a call back. That's the absolute worst case scenario. So what is there to be afraid of? I think I realized it, and I think I realized how it connects the dots for all the other bullshit decisions I've made in my life. I feel like when I say I have a fear of failure, what I'm really saying is if I fail, it's going to confirm all of the worst things that I already think about myself. So I have always, my entire college education, thought that I wasn't smart enough to be in school, or that I wasn't smart enough to get a good job, or that everyone else around me was way smarter and would outcompete me for these careers. And I had such bad imposter syndrome the entire time I was in school, especially the second time around, because I started as a geology major. I ended up getting a geology minor. Geology is the hardest discipline on this earth. So it just truly, it was nothing compared to what I had done previously. And I was with like super smart future PhD students who were like all of my friends. But, and it just always was like, well, I'm not as smart as these people, and I never will be. And they'll go to grad school and they'll get PhDs, and I will die in retail, which is another thing. I am so emotionally destroyed from working so many years in retail that I don't know if I can emotionally handle going back. And I've said before, when I say that, I'm not knocking people who work in retail. I did that for years. It's just not for me. I can't do it anymore. I'm not emotionally strong enough to go back to retail. But anyways, I struggled with my anxiety in college. I never really got the GPA that I wish I had. I don't know where this eye look's going right now. I panicked and didn't think that I would be good enough to get into grad school, so I didn't even bother applying at all. And then I never really bothered to apply for like jobs that I wanted to pursue because I just assumed I wouldn't get them anyway. Does this all make sense? Like, the amount of times that I have stopped my life or rerouted my life out of fear of failing at even trying is absurd. And I'm just now starting to realize how badly this fear of failure is stopping me from being a productive member of society. And beyond that, stopping me from being happy or from trying things. Like, Matt didn't want to work in the nonprofit. He didn't want to do what he is now. That's not what he went to school for. That's not what he planned to do. But he just he pursued opportunities that took him there. And it is working out. Like, I'm afraid to even try to do that, to try a new thing, to try to see if I can belong someplace. I noticed that I do it with YouTube as well. I am so afraid that my channel won't grow that I don't post. I am so afraid of never being as successful as some of my friends are on this platform that I don't put in the effort that would get me there because I assume that I won't do it anyway. So what does it matter? I won't ever break 10,000 subs, which, like, I shouldn't even like act like that, because once upon a time I never thought I would break 100 subscribers. And I hate that this whole doing YouTube numbers, like comparing myself to others thing, has warped my brain so much that I can't even appreciate where I am now, because Lacey 2 years ago would have peed her fucking pants if she knew where I was now. And I just, like, I hate that I do this to myself. I hate that I compare myself to other people I went to school with. I hate that I compare myself to other people on this platform. I just realized that I didn't bake before going into this eye look, and I'm gonna get shadow all over me if I don't bake, so I'm gonna bake real quick. I was recently in New York City, and I was visiting Teresa's dad and Emily Hanhan, who are my friends and fellow YouTubers. We were invited to this really cool haunted house experience in Manhattan called I Can't See. I will leave the information for it down below because it was a really cool experience, and I think they're doing it for the rest of the year. And it was cool. The stage manager, Taylor, shout out to Taylor, I'm so happy we got to meet you. She invited me and Teresa, and we were like, hell yeah, and it was so much fun. And on top of that, just that day was so much fun. We like got a bunch of food, walked around the city, did the haunted house thing, went to Ulta, ended up at the end of the night getting Korean barbecue and like getting kind of drunk in Queens. It was a good time. While we were at Korean barbecue though, I was like, whenever you meet up with fellow YouTubers, you talk about YouTube, obviously, because nobody else understands what it's like to do this except for other YouTubers. But while we were there, I was like a bottle of soju in at this point, but while we were there, I was talking to Teresa and Emily about how, like, about this, how I compare myself to everybody, how, like, I'm constantly, like, paranoid about not growing, and, like, there's ebbs and flows of YouTube. Sometimes your channel has a lot of growth, and it doesn't even have to be correlated to anything you're doing. Other times you're just stuck and it is what it is. We were having this conversation and how like I know what I need to do for YouTube. I know I need to post more regularly. I know like the kinds of content I should be making, etc, etc. And Teresa and Emily were kind of like, hey, you know you're sabotaging yourself here, right? You're overthinking it too much. You need to get out of your own head. And I literally was like, the story of my life. I do this with everything. I'm trying so hard to be proactive. I'm trying so hard to get over this, but I don't actually know how you get over it. I don't know how you get over like being so afraid to fail that you won't even try. Other than I guess like to force myself to go into the deep end, so to speak, like to force myself to get out of my comfort zone, to force myself, because I like, not to be like former gifted kid problems, but it is kind of one of those situations where if I'm not naturally good at something, I kind of give up doing it. And that's not how life works. Life works in a way in which you work towards something, you can achieve it. So I know, like, that's true for YouTube. The more I keep going, the better I'll get at it. Even if my channel never grows ever, at least, like, I will be more comfortable with everything I put out as time goes on. Like, does that make sense? Like, I'll be happier with it as time goes on. Same thing with what inspired me to want to sit down and film and get ready with me. Like, these entry-level kind of advocacy jobs that I'm pursuing. I feel like the blue is turning gray, even where I don't want it to turn gray, but whatever. Like, yeah, I might not have specific direct experience as an advocate, but that doesn't mean that I'm not qualified. That doesn't mean that I don't have things on my resume that can get me there. That doesn't mean that I can't get the job and I can't build on my experience and I can't move up in a nonprofit, let's say. I know I have to do that. I just, time will tell at this point. That being said, I did get over myself, so to speak, and I've been putting in a lot of applications, like I said. One place already called me back, which I need to pursue again tomorrow because they called me. I missed the call. I called them back, got an answering machine. I called again today, the next day, got an answering machine again. Gonna try again tomorrow. I'm gonna be obnoxious about it. It's a process. So jumping back and forward in this conversation I'm having with myself and the camera, I'm all kind of now realizing, like, it sucks. I don't want to ever feel like going back to school was a waste of time or that I regret doing it. Because like I said, I don't, other than maybe I regret the money I spent doing it. I don't regret going back to school to get an anthropology degree. But I am starting to realize, like, all of this being said, realizing what I've been doing to self-sabotage throughout the years, realizing, like, where it is with my passion, which, like, shout out to specifically the Half Cousins podcast, which I do with Georgia Harris. It's always linked in my description. I feel like they're doing the podcast. I've kind of realized these things about myself, and I've realized what it is that I can see myself doing in the long haul. And I think I need to go back and gear back towards my criminal justice degree, which I really kind of hate to admit because I don't want it to seem like I'm giving up on anthropology. Like, who knows what I will, like, this could all change in a couple years. But for right now, when I think about the kinds of work that I want to do, I want to pursue the criminal justice degree. I want to work a nonprofit. I maybe want to get involved with politics eventually. Like, this is all thoughts I had getting my criminal justice degree. I've teetered with going to law school before. And I think because there's a lot of colleges in the area that I might go back. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with the idea of going back to school. That was a highlighter. And getting a master's in criminal justice. That's, I think, would be the best course of action for what I want to do with my life. I don't know. There's another part of me that's like, am I admitting defeat if I go that way? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is right now. I just need to pursue what it is that makes me happy. Because, like, being totally honest with myself, as much as I love this YouTube gig and I appreciate what it's doing for me now and that it's allowing me to, like, be able to, like, stay home and get my game plan together and apply for these, like, adult jobs is what I keep calling it. Really, it's, like, full-time 9 to 5, like, the kinds of jobs I dreamt about getting as a college student. But as much as I love YouTube and it's allowing me to do that right now, I don't want this to be my career. I don't think I could mentally handle this being my career, to be perfectly honest. And that kind of goes into, like, why do I care so much if my channel grows or not? I should care about this making me happy. This is my hobby. And I think, honestly, truthfully and honestly, I think if I'm at work at a full-time job, YouTube will be 1000% way more fun and way more worthy of my time. Does that make sense? I think because I have this pressure of like all the aspects of YouTube right now, of it being kind of like the only financial thing I have going for me right now, of comparing myself to other people on it right now, like all of the above. I think that has been making YouTube a source of stress rather than a source of like fun. And I want it to be fun again. I don't care if it's a source of income anymore. I don't care if I ever, you know, I don't know, do I want my channel to grow? Absolutely. But I just like, I want to go back to appreciating everything that YouTube has been for me in the past. What I mean by that is I want to go back to like not looking at the numbers, to not caring about if other people are going to like the content I make. I just want to care about if I like the content I make. I want to care about the community I build here. I don't want to care about the 2 negative voices in the comment section outweighing the 100 people giving something positive to the conversation that I'm starting in my comment section. Like, I want it to be fun again. Like, I really do. And I thought when I moved and I had this space to do YouTube in, and I had extra time and freedom, blah, blah, I thought that I would go so much harder with my YouTube channel, because when I was back living in New Jersey at my family's house and like working at a spa job that I really like loved but then hated towards the end, all I ever wanted to do was just come home and do YouTube. And like some nights I was just so tired that I couldn't, or I wasn't in a situation where I could film for various reasons. And I dreamt about like, oh man, when I move, I'm going to do YouTube all the time. And then that didn't end up happening because YouTube became a source of stress. And I think thinking about what I want my passion to be, thinking about what I want my career to be, thinking about the ways that I want to use the tools that I went to school to use, that gives me motivation and drive, and that's where I want to put my heart and soul into. And then I want YouTube to just be this fun thing that distracts me from all the stress of the first thing. Does that make sense? I don't even know what this eye look is. I'm just kind of like winging it. I have my glasses on. I hope this is in frame. A lot of the metallics on this palette are really beautiful, but they're more like toppers. So I'm putting this this light purple, I should say, over this dark shade. That's what I'm doing with my eye look right now. I really hope this whole video has been in focus because I can't see shit without my glasses. My phone's going off. It's probably Matt trying to make sure I'm okay, because I fully had a panic attack and called him at work earlier because I'm just like elbow deep into everything I'm talking about. I'm elbow deep into like resumes, cover letters, following up with calls, all of that crap. And it's stressful. Job hunting is the most stressful shit on this earth. I legitimately called my parents for emotional support, and they told me to make sure that I take my septum ring out when I go on job interviews, which that was what I called home for. So thank you, Mom. I put my glasses back on just to see what the hell was happening. My eye look got a little dark and gray, which is not what I wanted. So I think I'm going to go in with this purple on the lower lash line, and then we could do fun things with like liner and mascara and stuff. But I just want like a little bit of color. I don't know if I'm going to film anything else in this look. I might. I just decluttered so much makeup. So like in the midst of all of this, to help with my like anxiety, I've been decluttering a lot of things, because like I meant to declutter my makeup collection before I moved, but then just life and timing didn't allow me to do that. So I brought basically everything with me, even if I knew I didn't want it, to New York, which sucked. And now I'm kind of like using my free time to declutter some makeup. And I've decluttered a lot recently, and I feel like my collection is the best it's ever been. It's still large and obnoxious, and a lot of people would have a problem with it. That's fine. But for me, it's perfect. It's the most curated my collection has ever been. I love every single piece of makeup in my collection. I know where every single thing is. I have decluttered makeup everywhere because I have to sort through it, and I want to film a video. This is very long-winded. I want to film a video, not obviously showing you the process of decluttering because that happened already, but showing you guys like what I decluttered, why I'm getting rid of it, my thought process behind it, because I think it's interesting. I've definitely been inspired by Georgia. Oh, I didn't wipe away my bake. I've definitely been inspired by my YouTube bestie, Georgia Harris. I always, I hope, Georgia, if you're watching, I hope you know that, like, you're more than my YouTube bestie, because I feel like that implies that I'm only your friend because of YouTube. Like, yeah, we met because of YouTube, but you're, like, legitimately one of my best friends, so, like, sappy moment. I talk to Georgia every day. But, like, anyway, Georgia came back, and I'm so happy that Georgia came back to YouTube. I had been with Georgia the entire time through everything she talked about in her videos where she explains what's been happening. And I'm just so happy that she's better and that she's been on this journey, and I'm so happy she's back on YouTube because I just fucking love her so much. But I think through Georgia's process, it has really inspired me to be more curated in my life, just with my interests, like with my makeup stuff and whatnot. Because while I will never be a minimalist like Georgia is, and she knows this, I find it very inspiring to be curated. I can also give some of that credit to Hannah Louise Poston as well, because she talks about fewer, nicer things. And I definitely will always probably have a large makeup collection because I love makeup more than, like, everything else in this life. Maybe not. I think, I don't know, plants maybe? Do I love plants more than makeup? I don't know. I probably makeup I love way more than plants, though I do love plants. And cooking. I love to cook, but I'm not, like, buying cookware constantly. I really feel like makeup is my #1 hobby at this point. So, like, I feel like I'm getting the most out of my collection having it be so curated and wonderful. So I'm really happy about that. Actually, like, not to say that I'm doing a collection video. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I'm probably the closest I've ever been to wanting to do a collection video, though, because, like I said, I love my collection. I'm very proud of it. It makes me so happy, like, so unbelievably happy. Which gets into, like, me and Georgia have these conversations all the time, and she knows that I'm talking about this in this Get Ready With Me, so it's not like I'm talking behind Georgia, behind her back, or anything like that. But through Georgia's process of, like, going through her mental health things and, like, coming to terms with what makeup is to her and what YouTuber is to her and all this stuff, there's kind of been this conversation brought up of, like, me, Lacy Spookles and Fat Hips, also having a shopping addiction, and, like, all YouTubers having shopping addictions and blah, blah, blah. And specifically, somebody left Georgia a comment that was like, are you still going to be friends with Lacy because she clearly has a shopping problem? And then her and I, like, privately and also on the podcast have been kind of dissecting, like, why is it that bothers me so much that people, one, I mean, because that's fucking rude to say, and if you're the person that said that, like, fuck you, first of all. And, like, I know that only I know my financial situation. I know that. I know that what I spend my money on is Matt and I's business. It is what it is. But, like, this topic of, like, makeup addiction, right? Because I'm gonna be I'm, like, straight up, like, I definitely, and I've talked about this on my channel, I've had a problematic relationship with makeup in the past. I don't experience makeup that way anymore. I don't experience shopping that way anymore. To be perfectly transparent, I couldn't afford to view makeup or shopping that way anymore, even if I wanted to, without getting myself into some serious financial trouble. My relationship with makeup and with stuff probably in general is the most healthy it's ever been in my life. And I really, like, to bring this full circle to decluttering, I've decluttered a lot of makeup, but I still have a large collection, and that's what makes me hesitant to talk about it on YouTube, because I think a lot of people would still view my collection as problematic. I've come to this realization of doing this declutter process that, like, I've had my makeup nirvana, so to speak, my epitome. I think a lot of people view makeup to be this very utilitarian thing, that it has one job and you don't need a lot of it to do that job. So, like, for instance, like, toothpaste has a job, shampoo and conditioner has a job, blah, blah, blah. You don't typically need more than one product of those things because it only serves one purpose, right? I don't view makeup as a utilitarian thing. It is a source of creativity. It is my hobby. It is something that makes me happy, something that I love to talk about. My collection, in my opinion, is alive. It has ebbs and flows. There's constantly new things coming into it, old things leaving. I'm constantly discovering new techniques, new products, new color stories, new trends, etc. And I love the whole process of that. I love everything about it. I love talking about makeup. I love putting makeup on my face. I love experimenting with makeup. It is such a source of relaxation to me. It is such a source of creative expression to me. It's a source of community for me. I have said time and time again, I would have quit YouTube a long time ago. It would have definitely not ever been as fun as it is if it wasn't for the community that I have on YouTube, other creators, people that have watched me for a long time, friends I've made doing this. I love every part of it. It's a hobby. It's a collection. I think a lot of that, like I said, is the self-confidence, and also something that me and Emily have talked about. Makeup is one size fits all, and I think being a plus-size woman, I don't have to worry about makeup like fitting me. Like it works the way I want it to work, and that's really comforting. But anyway, this is why I'm always hesitant to talk about my makeup collection or to like show it on camera, blah blah blah, because I know there's people who don't get that. I know there's people that don't understand that I allocate my money. I allocate my money in a way that prioritizes makeup, and I think a lot of people can't fathom that for various reasons, either because they don't view makeup the same way that I do, or they think it's frivolous, they think it's self-indulgent, they think it's wasteful. And it makes me think about like other hobbies in the world, right? Like my brother-in-law, for instance, is really into cars and really into drag racing and like building cars and stuff like that. Nobody ever tells him that he must have a shopping problem when he accumulates new car parts and rips apart old cars and puts new cars together and does all of these things that probably requires spending a lot more money than what I do, because it makes him happy. And it's probably, there's a whole issue of a masculine hobby versus a feminine hobby, but I won't even get into that in this video right now. I don't know, all of the above, everything I just said. It bothers me so badly that I constantly feel like I have to defend my makeup purchasing to like a small minority. I think most people understand makeup as a hobby, makeup as a collection, makeup as a source of enjoyment, and can like stay in their own lane and mind their own finances and not really worry about what I'm doing. But like, because it was said to Georgia, it bothers me, and I know it bothered Georgia, so if you think you were doing Georgia a favor, it just kind of hurt both of our feelings, to be honest. But I don't know, I feel like talking about like mental health and being in a better place, just in general, like I don't think I'm going to defend my makeup collection anymore. I don't think I'm going to defend my makeup shopping anymore. If you want to think that it's crazy and frivolous and have a problem, that's cool. I don't worry about what you're doing, but you can worry about me if that makes you feel better. And I think it has especially bothered me because I know how far I've come in my mental health, and it's such a fuck you when people want to kick you back to the place that you were at. But like, people don't know me. They know what I put online, and it's fine. People are always going to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm sure there's people who have already misconstrued this video in 1,000 ways. It is what it is. I can't help anybody. I'm gonna try to do wing liner. Bear with me. I don't like doing it on camera. All that being said, this was such a long-winded tangent about me not knowing if I wanted to film, but maybe filming an intro for the Declutter series that I would have to do. It would have to be a series. I could not film my Declutter in one part. And I'm really, like, I gave up a lot of things that I have held on to for a long time that I've always kind of rationalized. And when it came down to it, what was so helpful in my Declutter and what is so helpful in curating my collection, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, there's a bus going by. I like that my makeup collection is large. I like having a lot of options. It makes me happy. But specifically when doing my Declutter, I kind of had a pseudo Marie Kondo kind of thing going on where I picked up everything, I opened everything, made sure it was like still good and not expired and blah blah blah. But all of my viable makeup, for lack of a better term, I basically asked myself, like, does this bring me joy? Do I like this? And I don't like rationalizing, because I think when you film a Declutter, there's this pressure to rationalize everything. Like, that you use this, that you need it, that it's not dupable, that it's unique in your collection, blah blah blah. My eyeliner is bleeding. And I didn't do that. I really boiled everything down to, do I like this or not? I could like it aesthetically, I could like it formula-wise, I could like the color story, the packaging, whatever. Do I like this? And there were things that I definitely liked once upon a time. This is why I don't do my eyeliner on camera, because these are two different wings right now. Oh my god. I think once upon a time, there's definitely stuff in my collection that I liked at one point and it served its purpose. But asking myself now if I like it, the answer's no. And that's okay. And I also think people get really emotional about declutters because they could only they wish they had that product, or they can't imagine giving that product up, or it's so wasteful or whatever, this, that, and the other thing. I've already spent the makeup, or the money on it. I should say it is what it is. And that's the other thing. Like, I don't get shit in PR. Really. Like, I'm just now in my life on YouTube starting to see the barest of minimum PR come in my life. So it's not like I got a bunch of makeup, the full collection of whatever the fuck, and I'm ungrateful to whatever brand or whatever. It's all stuff I bought myself. And I don't want to have to defend my decisions of why I am or am not keeping every single fucking thing. I just want people to understand that it is my collection and it works best for me. This is such dangerous territory of trying to make each wing match the other. This is how you end up with Kiss makeup. I ended up turning the camera off so I can finish up because it was becoming a fiasco. Anyway, what was I saying? My declutter? Why did I even get on that subject? Oh, because I've been decluttering to kind of like to help with stress, basically. It's like a stress relief, and I was inspired to do that because of Georgia. And I think next, because I'm really happy with what I did with my makeup collection, I think next I'm going to start decluttering like my bath products and like my skincare, because I can't see anything. I was looking for my white mascara, because I have like perfumes that I know I'm never going to use again, or I have like little baby samples of like moisturizer that I know I'm never going to use again. So I think that's my next project. So my life as follows has been seriously job hunting for a career on top of decluttering. That's what I've been up to lately. For anyone who's been wondering what I've been doing lately since I moved, that was it. Like I mentioned earlier, if you don't know, I think I mentioned it in a live stream, and then I think I just mentioned it like real fast in a video once. Matt and I got engaged. We got engaged on our 9-year anniversary in New York, and we're gonna get married next October on our 10-year anniversary. And I'm so happy about that. It's about damn time. We were waiting. We had known for a long time we wanted to get married. It's just that we were waiting until we could financially be able to do that, basically, and until we were like truly on our own, and to like make sure that we were good living with each other. But we have been. Living with Matt has been the best thing ever. Being on our own has been the best thing ever. Really, like, I've loved everything about this experience moving. Like, it was a little rough at first. I talked about this, I think, in the last Get Ready With Me. I went through a little bit of a depression when we first moved because it was shocking to leave all of my friends and family and all of my support systems and a job and, like, stability and all of that crap to do this. But it's been so rewarding. And I was the other night, I was thinking about how this time last year, I used to go on Trulia and look at apartments in Albany and dream about what it would be like to get out, and dream about like how happy I'd be, and like look at these beautiful dream apartments and like wish that my life could look a certain way. And it really hit me the other night, like, I'm living the dream, baby. Like, I know this isn't the craziest dream ever. Like I've said before, nobody fucking moves to Albany. Like, it was such a random thing that we did, because this is really like not a hoppin' city. Like, it's fun, and I'm like close to a lot of things, and I'm honestly having the best life here, and I'm not saying that ironically. I feel like I'm living my best possible life here. I just like, what was I saying? I got lost in my mascara. I used to dream about what my life would be like, and now I have it, and it's awesome, and I'm so happy. I just wish I had a career. That's the final piece of the puzzle, and that's where I'm striving for right now. I want to reiterate again, because I know I've been bitching this whole Get Ready With Me. I want to reiterate for the real ones who stayed to this point in the video, the people who aren't gonna run with assumptions, that like, I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for you guys. Like I know people get weird when money and YouTube is being brought up, because no one wants to think of their favorite creators as like selling out or any of that crap. Or like, people get weird when other people make YouTube a career, for instance. YouTube isn't my career, and I really want to like reassure everyone that like I'm not making crazy bank money on this. But like, I did just get a sponsorship the other day, for instance. Like, that little bit, that little itty bitty teeny weeny bit of AdSense that I get from YouTube has allowed me, along with Matt's hard work, along with our savings, along with all of the preparations we took before we moved to make sure that we'd be financially safe. YouTube, on top of that, has made it so I can not feel pressured to make a stupid decision or not feel pressured to let my fear of failure push me in a direction that I don't want to go. And it's allowed me to really take my time figuring out what it is that I want to do, going in a direction that I think will make me happy, going in a direction that I think will make a difference, because that's another thing. I've always wanted whatever I did on this earth to make a difference, and I think that being an advocate is what's going to allow me to do that. And if that pushes me into law school eventually, like I had planned, or towards a master's program, or towards politics and public change and things like that, that's really cool. And I could be really happy doing that. And it's like, to make this all full circle, I never thought like makeup could do that for me. I never thought makeup could be more than just putting colorful goo on your face, and makeup has been so much more than putting colorful goo on my face. And I am so thankful and so grateful. You guys allowed for that to be the case. You guys allowed me to do that. You allowed for that to happen by watching me and supporting me and commenting and sharing my videos on Twitter and getting excited when I upload and having conversations with me, watching the podcast and all of that jazz, and like just caring about me as a human. Thank you, because that's crazy. And I know I'm sentimental fairly often, but I think I had been taking YouTube for granted, and I don't want to do that anymore. And going forward, I just want to worry about what makes me happy, what I think best represents what I'm trying to do on YouTube. I want to worry about just being the best representation of myself that I can be on this platform, doing things that make me happy, talking about products that I want to talk about. I don't want to have to worry about defending my content, defending my life, defending my finances, defending decisions like that. I just want YouTube to be fun. And the stuff like what I mentioned earlier, like getting to go to a cool haunted house with Emily and Teresa, that is like everything. I cannot believe that my hobby allowed me to have a day like that, because that was one of the best days I ever had in my life. Like, not to be cheesy, but it was. I don't know if I've been very introspective lately, if you couldn't tell. No, I cream contoured a little. I'm gonna go in with this Milani matte bronzer in Sunlight. It's a silky matte bronzing powder. This is amazing because it's not too pigmented, and if you're fair, if you're as pale as I am, as ghostly as I am, it's really easy to go overboard with your cheek products, which I frequently do. But it's just like a nice smooth powder, and it's in a nice neutral color. I dig it. As far as wedding stuff goes, this is, I think, the last like asterisk that I wanted to talk about in this Get Ready With Me as I finish up and put on my cheek products. I'm going to be using the Jouer blush duo in Adore. This was one of my Sephora VIB sale purchases. I love blush, and I have never in my life seen a blush shade this pale, specifically this side, and all of my other ghostly friends rave about this color, so I grabbed it. I'm excited to use it. One last thing, like I was saying before I go, I know I've gotten a couple comments whenever I bring up the fact that Matt and I are engaged. I get comments that are like, are you going to document the wedding process? Are you going to fill us in with that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just mixing the shades together at this point. Not to break anyone's hearts, but Matt and I are not having a wedding. Or not like a traditional wedding, I should say. So there's not going to be like bridal vlogs or any of that stuff. We are hopefully, this is the plan. We'll revisit it financially as we get closer, probably this summer. I will know for sure if this is the plan or not. As it stands right now, though, we want to elope in Vegas. We've been together almost a decade, like I said. It'll be 10 years next year. And there's a sense of like we kind of want to get it over with, but also we're not traditional people. Nothing about a traditional wedding kind of appeals to us. We would rather take that money and have like a really bomb-ass weekend in Vegas with our friends and just elope in Vegas in like a fun way. So that's the plan so far. People have asked me like if I've looked for a dress yet, anything like that. If and when we decide that the Vegas thing is the thing that we want to do, then I might make a video explaining what we plan to do, or I might post a video afterwards, who knows. But for right now, just know that like you're not going to get traditional wedding content from me. Sorry, I don't know what about me as a person alluded to the fact that I would be traditional about this, but I'm not. So like that was one of the last things I wanted to touch on. It is so loud. I apologize. I know it's like pitch black right now. I chose to film at the worst time because it's like 6 o'clock. Everybody's coming home from work right now, so the street next to me is extremely loud right now. My apologies. I'm gonna finish up my face with this Colourpop Disney designer collection in Horse and Carriage. It's the one with Cinderella on it. I originally was not going to buy anything from this collection, but then Teresa wouldn't stop talking about this shade, and I had to get it. This is the most beautiful shade ever. I don't even know what lip product I'm going to wear. I don't think I grabbed one, but I'm just going to highlight and then we'll be done. I can't find my regular setting spray, so we're going with some Mario Badescu. I know everyone says this is crap for your skin. I don't care. If you know me, you know my highlighter trick. Immediately after I setting spray, I go in with more highlighter. Lipstick, Urban Decay Vice Lipstick in Oblivion, then we're done. Okay. This is my finished look. I'm gonna take my glasses off so you can see my finished eye look. It's a nice look. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening to me pour my guts out on camera. I always like to be open on the internet because I know when I am, other people leave really nice, thoughtful comments of like understanding what I'm going through or thanking me because they feel validated and feeling the same things. I always want to be open for that reason because I know other people are going through this. I know that you guys are going to say helpful things that are going to help me out, that I've probably said something that might help other people out. It's reciprocal, baby. I like the community on YouTube. I'm going to say that one more time. I love everything about this. I'm very grateful for it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me while I put some makeup on. I might film another video. I don't know. I gotta also cook dinner. If you like this video, if you like Chit-Chat GRWM, and if you like me, please hit like and subscribe. You can also follow me on my Instagram, which is also Spookless and Fat Hips. You can follow me on my Twitter at Spooky Lacey, or you can watch me on the podcast that I do with Georgia Harris, the Half Cousins podcast. All of that information will be linked down below. Like I mentioned, please chat with me down below because it does mean a lot to me. But other than that, that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys!